I'm with Sasha Cooper in Brighton. And hi, Sasha.
Hi, Jilliana.
Haven't seen you for so long.
Yes, it's been a while. It most certainly has.
And you've certainly been doing a lot.
A
in
lot.
the meantime, I think it's, when did I meet you? 3 years ago?
Oh, gosh,
or
something
even
like
longer.
that. Yes, it'll be about that.
Okay, so it's catch-up time.
Mm-hmm.
What I want to ask you, because you are psychic and into that kind of line, shall we say, but you've inherited this. So I'd like you to tell me about your family background.
Okay, so quite a weird, interesting thing, because I actually didn't know anything about this until I was 19, okay?
Right.
So, really and truly, the whole thing kicks off in Spain and France. And
Yes.
really and truly, it's an interesting one because it's from my mum's side of the family.
Right.
And so people like my mother, my late grandmother, and my aunt have inherited this. But it goes back even further because the gift skipped a few generations due to...
You said you were Romany.
That's correct. Yes, we've got Romany Gypsy in our ancestry.
From which country?
From France and Spain, as I said earlier.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
So really and truly, it's kind of skipped generations because people like my mother and my grandmother were too scared of the gift, and I very almost nearly followed in that footstep.
Can you tell me what you mean by the gift? Can you describe what you mean as the gift?
So the gift usually is given to something like psychic work. So anything that can deliver messages from the world of spirit to people who are willing to receive. You know, rather than, people get it mixed up, shall we say, with a few other things. But the gift is when you deliver positivity via messages from loved ones or via the tarot, crystal ball, anything like that. A lot of people do get it mixed up, though, with the darker side. I personally don't like that.
Are you talking about the occult?
Exactly.
Right.
But then again, when you're talking about something like this, that's how it initially came about, because it was all associated originally with con artists or anybody who wanted to, say, corrupt the actual purpose that it was used for.
Yeah.
Some of it is has been used for entertainment purposes.
Yes.
And of course, if you go back to the Victorian era,
Yes.
you had a lot of people like Houdini who were willing to prove it to be...
Yes, I know all about that.
Exactly, so you know what I'm on about there.
And masculine, John Neville masculine.
Exactly, you
Yes,
got it
the
in
Egyptian
one.
hall. Oh, I know about my history of conjuring.
Exactly. But of course, that was purely that, entertainment purposes.
Yes.
The actual purpose for the gift is to prove evidence, show evidence that your loved ones are still living, even though they've passed on.
Right.
So that, they know that they're not alone.
And where are they living?
So many ways of looking at it, depending on your faith.
I want to hear your way of looking at it.
Okay, well, I will say first and foremost, it depends on your faith and what you believe. But I personally believe that they go to a safe place, call it heaven or the Summerlands, shall we say, and they're safe. I think a lot of people term hell, shall we say, as where we're living on now, our physical plane. You can either create your own hell or you can create your own heaven. Those who have, the way I like to look at it, those who have, shall we say, done a few accidental things, or shall we say, done some negative actions, they do get their comeuppance, or at least shown the way when they go up there. But put it this way, they're up there to serve a purpose. They're either to learn themselves or to share with others what they can do differently as opposed to their choice.
Have you projected astrally?
Personally, that's not my field.
Okay.
But I know people who have, and what they have said to me astrally is that it's like an out-of-body experience.
Yeah, I was going to say that, yes.
Yeah, they have told me it's like that, but I personally have
a
not
near-death
experienced that.
experience as well.
That's right. I mean, my mother has actually done that, though, twice in her life.
A near-death experience?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes,
How old is your mother?
Well, the first time round she was in her teens. It was in a rather horrific car crash.
Oh.
And I remember her telling me this. It was like floating out of her body and...
Up to the ceiling?
It went further than that.
Oh.
It went further than that. It was almost like a white light, for what she's described it to me as. Yes. And she met I think she met one of her ancestors up there, or her relatives, and they basically said, it's not your time yet. Sent her back down.
Because I've heard of people going through tunnels with white light.
That's exactly what happened to my mum. Literally.
What, she went through a tunnel?
Going up to a white light.
Oh.
The second time round was when she had me. Now, we both very nearly died.
Oh.
In childbirth. Very nearly. Because something went wrong in the operating theatre and she was given the choice to either save me or save herself.
Oh.
She automatically went, save the child. And it was during that time, though, when she was out, I had to be born by cesarean in the end.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, now this is the one and only time it went a lot further, because what she remembers is she actually went up, but rather than going through towards the light, it was like she was going to where one of her relatives lived. And she remembers hearing the conversation. She remembers everything that they were saying.
How old was your mother at the time?
She would have been in her early 30s at that point. And she remembers coming back and sort of saying, well, this is what happened. This is a bit strange. And nobody could explain why she remembers the conversation detail word for word. She can't explain it herself.
But you said you nearly died. How so?
Shall we say that there was something wrong in the complications, lack of oxygen, that kind of thing. That's why they had to be an emergency cesarean, mostly. Okay. But something, I don't know the full details, but something went wrong and we both very nearly died.
Gosh. Oh, well, you've survived it. That's
Yes.
That's the main thing, and you're here to tell the story.
Absolutely.
Have you written about that?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay.
The only reason why not is because there's not enough that I know about that period of my life, because obviously I was just born.
Of course, of course. Well, and you hadn't been in a previous life.
Well, strange thing, previous lives,
yes.
Because I do work with past lives a lot in some of my channelings.
Yes.
And there is evidence to say that there are times when we come back again, when we've been born before. I know that there have been times in my dreams, certainly when I was younger, where you do see sort of evidences of something you've seen before and you can't remember.
Déjà vu.
Yeah.
Have you seen something before? What have you seen?
Well, the first time I came to it was when I was 17. And it was weird because I remember being in the room where at my school we had to do this kind of trust exercise type thing. I think we had somebody in who was doing some kind of trust thing with us. But the funny thing was, I was doing this exercise. I was thinking, hang on a minute, I've seen this before somewhere. Why have I done that? And the funny thing was, I remember when I was much, much younger, I suddenly remembered what it was. I remembered at the age of 6 having that vision. So I didn't think much of it at the time, but it was like, that's weird. Hang on a minute, I know this scene. So I guess you could kind of say that was not a past life, that was more of a projectile one. But I do remember going through history when you're learning about it, and you have more of an affiliation with certain eras. So I've got an affiliation more with the Victorian and the Elizabethan and the Restoration period. And a friend of mine told me years later that actually I was a channeler of past lives. So in a past life, I was an actress in the Restoration period. I was also very much a witch in the medieval period.
We're going to come back to that. I'm going to stop now, and then we're going to continue with part 2.
Okay.
Thank you, Sasha.
Thank you, Julie.